Hello, everybody. We are back with more PPA Power Rankings. This is Jay, and this time I'm joined by Tuxmux and Ryan. Say hello.
Hi guys. Yeah, it's nice to be on the podcast this time. I'm usually a watcher, but nice to be on. It's nice to see that my two quarterfinal performances have got me into the good books here. I'm doing the podcast now. Yeah, I've been able to have a quick look at the teams. There's been some super creative teams, super fun teams. So I'm looking forward to breaking them down. And yeah, as I was saying, this is just an opinion. So if I rank your team a little bit lower than you like, that's half the fun of it. Prove me wrong. I'm looking forward to playing. I'm saying that to you, Cody. When I rank your team eighth, beat me, double freeze me. I'm looking forward to it.
Hello, everyone. It's Tux, and I'm finally on one of these. I don't think I was on one before.
Yeah, not with me,
Might not
Alex.
have been. I don't remember. I think I might have been on one in season 1, unless I'm hallucinating. But yeah, I am excited to rank everyone's team lower than they want to be ranked.
That's the name of the game. And again, at least for my part, I'll talk more about the team strictly and not the player behind it. So
Oh yeah, same
if I
from
say
my
your
end.
team is bad,
I-
you might be just better and just play the game and work with it. So
And of course,
just keep that in mind.
we're not gonna get everything right about a team. So if we miss your special combo or if we miss a style of play that you could bring, we're sorry, but let's see it.
yeah, if we miss a style of player, something lucky you. We haven't given out your secret tech to the guys yet. So I'd be happy if we miss something. I'd also like say that I think Leo's team last year it was probably my favorite, and I went back and checked last year's video, and I think it was ranked 12th out of the 32 teams. So, look, as I said, I'm not gonna get everything right, but yeah, I'm ready to start cracking on whenever you guys are.
Well, I'd first like to say Leo's team last season was my least favorite. Yeah, that's it. No reason for that.
All right.
Leo's team was
yeah.
so good. There was regulation changes to stop teams.
Yeah, that's one of the things I want to talk about. You will not see any more below 4 points. That's the new rule we had, which hopefully makes the teams much wider and with more options rather than just power knight all the way.
Of course, that's a rule that came from the Tuxmux and Jay Ballister brain. I actually
Administration.
don't know how to say your name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cut this out, but okay. Yeah, that's a rule that came from Tuxmux and Jay Ballister brains, so it might not be the best move.
Which actually is just a callback to season 1, because season 1 also had a similar point structure that 40 points out of like just a magnitude higher. So another callback this season is
40 out of 900.
Yeah, something like that. But it was the same, 440. It was the same baseline. And another callback we have this season is the first division we are going to cover, which is Violet and then Scarlet, which were the divisions we had back then.
All right, well, without further ado, let's get into our first team that we're going to be covering. It is our 2-time first overall pick, RedJolteon.
And many more to come.
Every season. Yeah. I actually think this team is pretty good. I'm a big Oranguru fanboy, but I think this is a very well built team.
Yeah. Look, I can be a little bit biased because I built with RedJolteon and I kind of was talking to him with some of the stuff on this team, but I do quite like it. The thing I like the most about it is I think his first two picks were I think Baxcalibur was a little underpriced on the board. I think Scale Shot's just such a great addition to it. Dragon Dance was already there, and it has super great attack and typing. Clefable, obviously, great follow me user, so it can set up. And then Steel was kind of really weak into that, so I think getting a really strong ground type in Ting Lu was great. I think you can see there's a clear Trick Room mode, there's a clear Tailwind mode, it has Fake Out. I think it clicks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, I agree. Here I have highlighted the speed tiers, which I think are really good. You have your clear Trick Room mode with Tinglu, Cooperaja, and even Lurantis, and Clefable, all backed by this really cool monkey Oranguru over here. And then you have a really fast mode with Tailwind from Kilovatcher into Salazzle, Basculin, Excalibur. You have the classic Disquake with Tinglu, Kilovatcher, and also Telepathy with Oranguru, which also works with that. And yeah, overall, really, really strong. There are a lot of big physical attackers. Here you can see the attack is really high. So having competitive is good to deal with that incoming intimidates, or even use your own intimidate with a skill swap to trigger it. So I think there are a lot of quirks that make this thing go a long way.
I think it's a pretty well built team. I'm a little scared about the Tailwind mode with like Baxcalibur. Like you're really only big attacker to take advantage of it, and it's still not like the fastest. It can get outsped by some of the faster mons in the format with stuff like Choice Scarf or Booster Speed. And also, I think not having a slower fake out will really kind of hinder the trick room mode. Because Salazzle, 117 base speed. That is really fast. It's going to be clicking fake out next to the Oranguru or maybe the Stantler. And then what is it going to be?
Yeah, but Oranguru has a really nice thing, is that it's really reliable to set Trick Room thanks to Inner Focus. You just slap a Mental Herb and maybe a Follow Me next to it, and you get your Trick Room up.
The Follow Me is good, yeah.
I think, personally for me, the only kind of red flags here are, I think there was a lot spent, and look, this might just be a personal thing, I think there was a lot spent on 2 support mons, and, Clefable and Oranguru. If they're on the field, Follow Me Trick Room is great, but it's also very passive. So when you're doing Trick Room, you kind of want to make the use of as many of those turns as possible. Like all those turns can be quite important. So I think it'll be interesting to see how he works with that. But RedJolteon's a great player.
Yeah,
so
and I also wouldn't call Clefable just a support one. I mean, you slap a life orb on your Magic Guard Clefable, and it's your fairy attacker. At the end of the day, it will deal some damage.
Absolutely.
Well, 95 special attack. It's not the best, but it can still do some damage with some stab moves, especially if you get a nice surprise tear on it.
So
yeah, absolutely.
What are you thinking? Where does this land? Yeah, for me, for now it's just a base A.
Well, I think
it would be either you're a lower A or a higher B for now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with what Tux says. I think it'll be a lot easier to rank it once we have 3 or 4 on the board.
We'll be over here, then it will go up or down.
I do personally think it's in the top half. Yeah, I have it in the top 4 teams in this division anyways, for sure.
Yeah, 4 out of 8. All right. So now one of the newcomers to the league, Jayme. And this team is scary. I mean,
yeah. Oh, I love this team.
How does Chiyu come back to the Flutter main? He was like second pick, third pick overall.
Yeah, third pick.
So yeah,
Chiyu's so slept on, man, in these drafts. They come back so late. This is my number 1 team. This is my favorite team in this division. Like, hands down. I think if you look at first thing I think is the most important thing to look at is if you're looking at speed control. Really good trick room setter in Bronzong. Salamence maybe isn't the fastest tailwind setter, but it gives off intimidate, so it makes sure that it gets that chance to set it if you want it. But then you have to look at a Protosynthesis boost on FuratBang for the icy winds. So I think controlled speed really good in this team. And on top of that, having FuratBang, having Chi-Yu, having Salamence, having Hariyama, I also think is a little bit underpriced on the board. Great
It is.
fake out, great attack. Grafoi is another, I was looking at ways for this team to set up Sun. Prankster Sunny Day comes from Grafoi. And, if you want to look at the Grafoi and Slay King duo as well, this team seems to have a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hariyama, it was 12 points last season. I drafted it. I thought it worked great and it could go even higher, but somehow in the voting for the season, people want it lower. So I guess. And yes, it has the two broken special attackers, the three really consistent bulky ones, and then the funny combo. If it doesn't need to be good, but your opponent still needs to be aware of it, which is nice in draft.
Yep. They gotta respect it.
What's Slay King's base stat total? 680 or 670 or something? Like
670.
670. You click one move, you have a 670, you throw a clear amulet on that, you're not getting rid of that you're not lowering its attack. It's a threat. You have to prepare for it each week, and when you have to prepare for Trick Room with Bronzong, heavy hitters with FuratBang, Chi-Yu, Tailwind, and even if they don't want Tailwind setup, I'm pretty sure Grafoi gets Prankster Copycat. So as soon as Trick Room goes up, you can take Trick Room back down. So this is just a really well built team.
It does. And it also has the two-time champion, so Umbreon.
Yeah, it has Umbreon. So that's how you know this guy is going far.
So yeah, I think this is it will land
I think it's
in S most likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Electrode is also one that can come to a specific matchup. You need a fast electric type or fast grass type, so Electrode is always good for 6 points. And Chansey maybe won't come that much, but I guess it's there.
Chansey is one of those mobs like on paper, it's like you need a 4-pointer. All the other 4-pointers I picked, you're just picking something. You know what I mean? It looks good on paper. I remember I picked it my first season. It doesn't come. It doesn't. There's not a single match where it comes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was also literally the last pick of the draft, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Terra Rock Slide under Trick Room with Serene Grace. Chansey gets Serene Grace, right?
Yes, it does. But does it get Rock Slide?
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
It does. Oh my god, 60% flinch.
60% flinch.
Yeah,
Trick Room.
That's the niche.
But at the same time, you're running a Chansey.
You're dealing 1%.
4 turns. Yeah.
Look, if he's 6-0 and has one game left, I don't see why he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Okay, next up is I'm gonna butcher this name. Legonene, I guess.
Legonene.
Legonene.
Let us know which way to pronounce it if you see this.
Yeah, coach of the Lyric Lycan Rocks. Really cool logo over there.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why this team. What do you guys think? First thoughts.
Okay, so I personally have this team ranked a little lower than some of the teams we ranked so far. Like I'm not the biggest fan of some of I feel like it's a little top heavy, but also I don't know. There's something that just doesn't do it for me. Like I don't think.
I don't really see the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think the tailwind is.
Yeah,
sorry. Right. Yeah. I don't think the tailwind is quite good in this team. I'm also not 100% sure about like I think Godatel's a great, trick room setter. In prison, I don't really 100% know what to follow me. I don't know.
The problem is your trick room is also your fake out. So how are you
Yeah.
consistently setting it up?
Well, I mean, this team does have 3 redirection users, so I guess that's a way to set it up.
Yeah. Even if you want to do something like you could lead Dragapult with Godatel, and what you're doing there is you're threatening a really fast Draco helping hand, or you're threatening going U-turn and setting Trick of Room straight away, and you're giving your opponent a 50-50 there on what you really want to do. Yeah, that's kind of my opinion on
Yeah,
that lead.
just commenting off pretty much what you said. I don't think that the Tailwind and the Trick Room modes are there. These are like mid-tier setters for what I would say. I mean, they aren't the best, but they aren't bad. I guess that's pretty much it. But the speed tiers are looking good. You have your slow ones, your 50s, your fast ones, 110 to 142. But after that, I don't think King Gambit is really good. Overpawn is also really good. But it doesn't really come together. You don't have any way to abuse Shadow Tag either. There's no Berry Song in this team.
So that's like half your prep advantage already gone. With just not even one mon that has Parasong. Like even something like a Meryl or Jigglypuff on this team. A Misdreavus. Something that just forces your opponent each week to be prepared to deal with the Paris trap. That is such a big advantage in a draft.
Alright, also, this team is really physically skewed. It does not have a single special attacker that isn't Dragapult. And maybe Venomoth? Gothitelle if you use it offensive, which, I mean, with competitive it can, but then you don't really have a support in this thing. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to being proved wrong about this team. So, Legonene, Legioni.
My one thought on this team is I think it wins games through either countering a team's trick room with either their own trick room with a prison from Gothitelle, or by sending King Gambit on the field, or they get Pheasantipity out there, get some icy winds or tailwind down.
Yeah, I guess the vision is like
follow me or Rage Powder,
toxic chain
like
trapping.
Setup.
But yeah, I guess if you toxic the enemy once and then they can switch out, maybe if you leave, you may win that way. But I don't know. What do you think, Eamon? I'm looking towards high C.
Yeah, I think high C, low B. I still think it has some good mons. Like, like having something like King Gambit, like, it one sword stance, and who cares who's faster because you have Sucker Punch. Godatel is always still such a great Pokemon. Dragapult, there's very few faster than it. I just don't see the huge gelling together of these mons. The so much follow me. Like, do we need as much follow me redirection? I think there could be some transactions to be had in this team. I don't like. I still think it'll do good, and if it's piloted by a good coach, I'm looking forward to seeing it. This we could be like, oh, maybe we should rank this a little higher, but I think for now, yeah, it is kind of on the lower half for me, and who knows? In 4 weeks' time, this could be 2 or 3 transactions away from being a top team. So,
completely agree. Yeah. Next up, we have Finiro, which has been with us a few seasons now.
Finiro,
my masked buddy. He gave me a good game in the masked division that time.
If everyone here saw what I was typing in mod chat and in DMs about Finiro last season, I was a big believer. Even after I think he started 02 or 03, I was a big believer, and he almost.
Oh yeah.
He lost his week 7 versus Furat in a game 3 that was one of the closest games of the season, and he could have been in playoffs.
Finiro is good enough for playoffs. 100%. I've played this guy before. I know what he's like. He's he's a good player. I was really surprised at the O3 start last season, but we don't know. It might you have bad weeks, or
Yeah.
he might have just not had as much prep for those weeks as possible. I would expect anyone who's expecting the same as last season, more of a negative season, but negative score-wise season. This guy will surprise you, I think. With how he plays. But down to the team, what do you guys think?
Yeah, what I see here is a Volcarona. Back in playoff season 2, he may have lost just to Volcarona, got eight kills. So now it's here, I guess. Let's see how he handles it.
I see, first off, I see screens from Grimmsnarl, which is very good. And I also see a Clefairy next to a Volcarona and an Ogerpon, 2 setup mons.
Belly drum Titan.
And Titan, yep. So this is a screen setup team, very much so. And I'm a fan of it. I like it.
Yeah. One of the main issues is that you do have 2 very Eviolite dependent mons here in your first 3 picks, Clefairy and Thwackey. I guess you can run like Sash on Thwackey, but it's quite bulky.
You can run Grassy Seed in some
Grassy Seed, yeah.
I think Thwackey still, it's like 420 base stats, not the worst. Obviously, you want the Eviolite. I think that is still a problem. My problem with this team is I'm not really sure if you take away the last 3 mons. The last 3 mons aren't going to be coming a lot. You have like Grimcell support, Slowking is going to be support, the Fairy support. Like a lot of the damage is coming from 3 mons in this team. Volcaronis, Titan, and Ogerpon. Now, there's great ways to enable these with, if I'm looking at speed control with like, Tailwind versus Trick Room. There's 1 Tailwind setter in this team, and well, there's 2, but we're not counting Noctelle. Volcarona doesn't want Tailwind, like it wants Quiver Dance. Like, it's you don't want to be setting up for other people, or for the team. There's not a Trick Room setter on this team. Oh well, there is. Sorry. Oh, actually, there's actually a pretty decent one. So I kind of take that back.
It's
in Slowking. And I love Oblivious Trick Room users. Slowking's just so fat, it can sit there, it can imprison. The other team can't use Trick Room, or you can use Trick Room yourself. Yeah. So as I was saying, just the Tailwind is like a slight problem for me, and the fact that I just feel like a lot of the damage output is coming from those 3 mons.
Yeah, I agree that Volcarona isn't a real Tailwind setter. Mainly because it's your main special attacker, you don't want it to be setting up and stuff like that. Well, but again, back when I used it, I also had this thought of, I'll have Volcarona and Salamence for Tailwind. I never used it on Volcarona. And I don't think not all will. I maybe it comes, but I don't think it will be any good. So yeah, Tailwind will probably be a problem, but with redirection, with Friend Guard and all that, maybe just with setup and screens, this team may just do well enough.
One thing I will say is about the 3 big setup mons, most of their weaknesses are covered by one of the other 2. So if there's one mon that's like not very good into one of their opponent's likely leads, you can lead one of the other 2. Like if they have a Tornadus, any flying types, you lead Titan instead of Ogerpon. If they have any fire types, then you can lead Ogerpon and put that Rock Ivy Cudgel. Just stuff like that.
Here's a question for you though. Like, how many of these are too many to bring in a week? So like, for example, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable having like a Clefairy, a Thwackey, a Slowking, and a Grimmsnarl all on the same team. I feel like that's way too passive for the 4.
I don't think it's terrible to bring all 4 in your 6, because you're still bringing 2 of your carries most of the week. But you don't bring all 4 in your 4 each game, of course.
Yeah, and also just by experience, Grimmsnarl is also a physical attacker. You run with freeze kind of choice band. And
120 attack. That's the same as Hariyama.
You can lead Slowking Grimmsnarl, fake out Trick Room, and then you have a really strong physical attacker in the field.
Yeah, and as you're saying, like even the like Grimsnire is one of those mons. I think it's being grouped into this like supportive category, for the longest time. You know, 1 week Finiro is going to come out. It's going to have a choice band. It's going to have Frisk. You're going to see your opponent's moves. You're going to hit a really hard fairy move into someone, and yeah. So
I think just to
I
keep,
really like this team.
for me it's below RedJolteons, so either high B or low A.
yeah, I have
I'm
this
also
better.
wondering.
Oh, RedJolteons.
No, I have it lower as well. I have this just better than the Lear and Lycanroc, so I'd say B, high B in my opinion.
Okay, high B, low A.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
great.
And sorry, that lower, that just lower than Tuxmux is that my opinion just on the support mons and thinking that just maybe not as much
Yeah.
offense, but as I said, see how Finiro runs it.
Yeah. Next is Jerrybeans, who just joined the server and won a speed tour, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
certainly
this division
someone
stacked.
to.
Who would do that and join the server and win their first thing in it?
Who would do that? Yeah. I mean, this team has a lot of stuff going on.
There's things I really like about this team, and then there's things that I really don't like about this team as well. And what I really like about this team is I think Komo is a fantastic pick, especially for draft. You don't know if it's going to do Clangorous, if it's going to be Iron Defense. I just think it's a great mon. I think Sinistra is probably the partner for it.
Yeah.
Hospitality boosts, redirection. It's a great trick room setter. You have Tinkaton, who I just think is fantastic type, great in draft. It just, with Gigaton hammers, fake out, encore. It has intimidate. It has firewater grass. My problems come from tailwind, and yeah, I just don't. I don't think Moltres is. I've just seen people pick Moltres before, and it's just that double weakness. It's a little slower than some of the other tailwind mons.
It relies a lot on Terra. Yeah.
Sorry.
It relies a lot on Terra.
Yeah,
it needs to
it
go
does rely a lot on
Terra grass, Terra water, and all that.
And I think like saving your Terra for something like a Como, which can just be so imposing. That Terra Steel or the Terra, it can be so imposing. I think Moltres takes up a lot. I don't think it's the best tailwind. And what does Craggle do on this team?
It triggers
Oh,
Anger
it's
Point.
I've done this last year. Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
Right.
Wide glasses. Craggle was something I ran actually a few times because Frostbreath isn't 100% accurate. Just so you know. It's missed and mocks in ruined games, and it's what's really nice about Wild Glass is you can also stick Icy Wind on it, and Icy Wind then is fully accurate. But yeah, so I'll let someone else speak.
Yeah, in this team, I like it. I think it's one of those mid-range teams that don't really want to go super fast. They have the option to click Tailwind when it's necessary, but it typically won't unless that it's necessary. It wants to get this setup with Como or just like hit you hard with Thor or Moltres Magnezone. But yeah, you have your screens to support that game plan of more like bulky, hit you hard. Then there's Pachirisu, which I don't really know. I have it marked in red, which usually means I don't know what it does here.
It's just another redirection for Como, really, isn't it? Like I feel like a lot of this team is like.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want a redirector, you have Sinistra, and a Redditep you have a Magnezone. It's just a bit in the middle, I guess.
I get it. No, I think you're right as well, Jay. But for someone myself, if we go to my team, I also think I might have two different forms of redirection, and it's just one of those where like, my Rage Powder redirection is the much better mon. But if you want to let the opponent know, okay, you can't just put safety goggles on. I'll still get the redirection off. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the best thing to do. And this might be something where in 3 or 4 weeks' time we look at the transactions and we see that there is a move there.
Yeah, because there are 2 points remaining, so this could be a 10 drop.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see what Luminion does for this team. So, if that's something that
Yeah.
wants to,
Yeah, because water
improve
isn't
on.
really a problem when with your main three guys, which I think
Yeah.
are Sinis, Chacomo, and Taros, are all being water resistant.
Yep.
I don't think.
Yeah, I thought this was the sole tailwind setter, which is why when I said at the start there was things I didn't like, I completely forgot about Moltres. But Moltres, I'm still not too high on it. But yeah,
No,
I
it's 90 base speed for tailwind setters, not the best, especially when you get in tailwind mirrors.
Yeah, I mean the speed tiers in this team aren't the best. And your lowest one is not slow enough, and your fastest one is not fast enough. So you really bank on those screens, on those fake outs, the redirection to get things moving.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also marked here the type chart, which I'm not a huge advocate for having a clean type chart, but you don't really have any glaring weakness here. But you are lacking a lot of types, which might be you have some stacking on waters, electrics, and all that. So maybe move things around, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
although-
think. I
sorry
think
to go ahead,
dropping-
Tux.
If you drop Pachirisu and Neon, that's 14 points for 2 mons. I think you can get like a 9 and a 5, an 8 and a 6, or 2 7s. That would really complement the team a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. But again, the top 4, 5, 6, this I really like. I think this is consistent enough to get some good usage.
Absolutely.
So, where are we looking with this?
Where do I have this team?
I think probably a low B or a high C.
I have this one personally a little better than Finiro's, but if you just wanted to go before Finiro, I'm
Yeah,
either way.
I'm torn between
I think put
up
it
or
after.
down. Let me take another look at Finiro.
I think I might be coping at a little higher on Finiro's team then, but
Yeah, I think I'd rather get this team than Finiro's.
okay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you rely a lot on setup, you need to waste a lot of turns to get it going, while you can just like lead the Tauros with Magnezone and you are gonna do things. Even if you are not, if you don't have the speed control, you don't have, it doesn't really matter. You have ones hitting hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now the next one is an interesting one. Smash.
Oh my god.
I don't know if we will share the same opinion on this because I don't know. I've seen some people speak about this team definitely a different way than I'm looking at it.
Okay.
You want to go first?
There, there's too much. There's too much of the same.
I have this team as, and don't get me wrong, I think all the teams in the league are, they're made well. I do have this team at the bottom in my opinion because it's just so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And this team looks like it's beaten by one imprisoned Trick Room. Well, if you get Trick Room up, if you let this person get Trick Room up, you're done. Like it's
I just want to
so.
say, please go watch the very first season 1 power rankings, preseason power rankings, and I'm pretty sure JQ said the exact same thing about my team that season.
The thing is, I don't think this team is bad, but with 2 transactions, this team is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I say that this is, in my opinion, the worst out of them, that like it can be changed so easily. Like it's one of those where it's so close. There's no in between for this team. Like Iron Hand's incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
because look at
Concord,
this.
Torkoal,
You
Liquid.
have your bulky fighting type with a Trick Room, bulky fighting type with a Trick Room, bulky fighting type with a Trick Room. You have 3 Trick Rooms modules.
Oh god.
Just
Yeah.
I made the note here. Just drop the Conkeldurr for Sylveon, and you have like you get the other good special attacker in Trick Room, and because you already have a fast mode with Liliant and Sun, Lycanroc is a really good fast physical attacker for its value, 8 points. This is amazing. So just don't have the same 3 pairs of mons and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know Smash will not drop in Conkeldurr at
Yeah.
least, but
That was a fun time. The panic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
If you really
there's
need to
also
drop
this
something-
Sudowoodo over here, which having Lycanroc and Sudowoodo, I mean, why you already have it, but
Yeah.
at least you could abuse it because it has rattled, and if you hit it with beat up or pin missile or something like that, and the weakness policy and the Terra, Sudowoodo can do stuff, but there's no setup for that, so Sudowoodo is pretty much just standing there, useless.
I'll say this once again. Even though I have this team ranked so low, if this person wanted to reach out and talk through a few transactions and get them off straight away, I think this team could be in like the top 2 or 3. It's
Yeah.
literally just a few transactions away. You have some really good stuff here. A lot of the stuff just does the same, and then there's a lot of like really good mons here that just like as you were saying, the Sudowoodo, like if you can get like the beat up or
Yeah, I have
it's-
a Sneasel. The Sneasel is free. You get a fast fake out with beat up. I think you
you
have
just get
another
fast mon in
dimension.
general.
Well, I mean, the beat up doesn't really matter if you're trading Sudowoodo out, but
No, it's not a Sneasel in place of Sudowoodo, but maybe you can drop Duxmore or something like that because you already have
Yeah.
Ferrigiroth.
right.
Like when I'm playing Trick Room, I like to kind of follow. I think a nice like when you're bringing 4 mons to Trick Room, something I really like to follow is like 1 Trick Room, like setter, 2 mons that are gonna do really well in the Trick Room, and then just 1 really fast mon to clean up at the end.
Yeah.
I'm just you kind of have Lilligant if you want to set up Sun, but I don't know. I think this team needs transaction or 2, but I'm ready to be proven wrong as well. So.
I need a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to see him drop Conkeldurr, drop Sudowoodo, drop Dusknoir, get something, maybe either with Cryo or another slow mo for Trick Room like Sylveon, and then just get
I'd like a
something
fast mon in this team. I'd like a fast mon that's just gonna like give it, or even like a decently speeded mon that you can like throw a scarf on and just clean up
Yep.
at the end game.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
just break one of the 3 Trick Room modules, and this team is much better.
I personally have it before Lear and Lycanrocs, but
yeah.
if you just have it better, that's
No, I was gonna place it there. Unless Tuxmux says something different.
I mean, yeah, I think it's fine there. Sounds good.
Okay. Now we have the 2 big names.
2
of the-
goats.
Yeah. We have Lackey with Shroots, who didn't get neither Graphire nor Shroodle.
I really like this team, and I really liked what Lackey done with his when he was drafting the graphics. So fair play
that
for
was fun.
going all in there. Does someone want to take us away?
Well, yeah,
So
I
first of
have.
all, you talk.
Okay. No, I just was going to point out the 4 weather modes with sun, rain,
Yep.
snow, and sand.
Yep. He's taken what I did last season to a whole nother level. I
Oh,
only
yeah.
had the 2 rain and sun.
Does Murkrow get? Excuse me. Does Murkrow get Sandstorm?
I think it doesn't.
I don't think it does either. But it does.
No. It's it's Citron, Haunted itself, and Golem. So
Yeah.
not really a setter for that.
I still think Houndson's such a great pick. You just stick a scarf on it. It doesn't need it. It's last
Yeah,
respect
fluffy.
at the end of the game.
It's good. Yeah.
This is one of those teams where even like if it didn't have a prankster tailwind setter, I would still be like I'd put it up there with some of the faster trick room or faster tailwind teams because there's so many ways to enable Ninetales' drought with Victory Bell, having Rain Dance, being able to, if you really wanted Sand Rush, Swift Swim, but it has that as well, which is even better. Heatran's a great mon. You saw that last year with Squirrely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this team. This is really on the higher end for me.
Yeah, just the three top picks here are just so good. Heatran, Murkrow, and Thunderous. This will come to every game and be good. So, and then you just mix and match with weathers as your lower end of the team.
Yeah, like if you're playing this guy and one of your primary modes is weather, don't fight it because this guy can throw any weather at you. So that's something you really have to think about. Yeah, like Prankster Tailwind, so good. I like this team. The only thing I would say is, do we have we don't have a trick room or like an
No,
imprisoned
I
trick
was
room,
looking at no. There are no trick rooms, so there's no imprisonment.
which is definitely a way to beat this team.
Yeah.
If you have a fast, if you have a trick room mode, this team will struggle a bit, but Lackey's a good coach. He's a decent coach if you check the historic ranking, so I'm sure he'll be fine.
Overrated.
It's funny. I would have this team probably as like, I either have this as the best or the second best, and I have Smash's as probably the worst. But I think if these teams faced each other, Smash's team probably wins.
Probably,
I don't
yeah.
know, but like just it's quite funny. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I don't think I like it better than the other Graphite team. I think this one is more consistent, but this has a bit more depth, maybe.
Yeah, what do I have in my notes? Yeah, I have it I have that 1 and 2 as well, the exact same way you have it. So I have no arguments.
Yeah. Just looking at this, I mean, I think everyone can come. Maybe Golem doesn't have the best setup in this team to do something, but maybe. And
I think everything comes with Golem, and that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts, Tux?
Not really. You guys covered it all. I just think Heatran is a really good mon, and with Sun support from Ninetales, Tailwind support from Murkrow, it can do a lot for, just like it did a lot for Squirrely last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And finally, for this division, we have Season 2 champion FuratBang.
For it. One of the other goats in this division.
And for me personally, this is my favorite team of this division. I think this is the widest, and just every single one does something in this team.
Yeah, I like this team as well. For me, I think I actually have it in my notes as the third best, but I can see why you would want it as the first best. I think, it has the Firewater Grass core, and I think that Ogerpon is so underrated. I think it's just as good as some of the 21-point Ogerpons. Aurora Veil's fantastic. Milotic is a great mon to pair with screens because it can be so bulky. Infernape, if you don't know, physical or special. Like when you're spending that much already on like your front view, something like a Tailwind setter can be quite tough to get late on. But Nidoran is probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest, non-priority Tailwind setter. You have Slush Rush to mix with the Ninetales Alola. This team still has screens. It does a lot. There's a lot to prepare for with this team.
I think this is the third or fourth time that Furat drafts Impidimpi. The man loves it, and he's doing good. So
that's his ace.
Yeah. And then just to just close everything off, there's a Gengar, which isn't nothing to laugh at. So yeah, I don't want to face a Melodic behind an Aurora Veil.
No,
and also you don't want to come. You don't want to bring your Intimidates or your Icy Winds or stuff like that against these 2 mons. I don't know.
You just don't want to bring like moves like Moonblast and and stuff like that even have the chance for the secondary drop, because you can just lose a game right there if you even get it.
Yeah. Can I see Jayme's team for 1 second again, if you don't mind just going back to
Yep.
it?
I mean,
Did this have? Yeah. Do you know what? I'm still a little bit higher on Jayme's team.
yeah,
with-
yeah,
If you
I
go
see
back
why.
to, if you go back as well, just do you know what? It's always going to come down to the speed control, and there's just not a there's one trick room setter, and I don't know if you want Gengar as your imprisoned trick
Yeah,
room
but
or.
I mean, if you use Trick Room, it's just for imprisoning because
Yeah, no, absolutely,
you,
but
you,
it's
you, you
so
you don't have
strong.
any slow
Yep,
sweeper.
that's what
So.
I was about to comment on. His team is very fast, very top heavy, speed-wise, and it doesn't really have much to deal if Trick Room gets set up.
Well, I mean, you
at
still
least
have
your bulky,
your
bulky
Minority,
mons
yeah.
under screens, but you can't. It's hard if they set up Trick Room in his face.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I'll also say once, like I said with Lackey, this is a coach who knows what he's doing. So I won't I'll reserve my judgment until 7 league games are played. But yeah, as
Yeah.
just if we're not judging the coach and we're judging the team, you know, it's lacking a way to deal with Trick Room, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of the draft style of Furat, barring season 1, which when he had Dotho and
Got
Goldango
Dotho.
and all that stuff. The rest of the season, he's gone with very balanced style teams, and this just checks all the marks. So I think he'll be really comfortable with this, and he'll do great. And I'm putting up second. And I don't know about having 3 teams on S, but
What do you think, Tux? Where would you put this?
I agree with this on S. I think it's second. Perfect placing right there.
That's I personally have a third, but majority vote, and I could completely see why you'd have it second. But I do think Jayme is still the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is how Violet is looking. I think it will be interesting because even these lower teams, either with good gameplay or a few trades, these go up a lot. So
yeah.
So this will be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this division. I even think this skill level of a lot of coaches in this division is really good. I won't speak, say, like, you know, I'm not saying other divisions have worse or anything, but I think there's a lot of good people in this division. I think this is definitely one I'll be keeping an eye on each week to see how it goes.